Traders and investors, this is an Ethereum technical analysis video. I will begin the video from the higher time frame, the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, you can see that Ethereum is in an uptrend. It has been in an uptrend since June of 2022. It has been moving to the upside in a quite well-defined upward sloping channel, and currently Ethereum sits at the channel support. Okay, now the channel support is uh, as of today at around 2,700. So from that respect, Ethereum is sitting 10% above the channel support, and the price is supported by two long-term EMAs. The green line is the 100-week EMA, meaning that it is a 2-year average price. So Ethereum is sitting at a 2-year average price, and it has the longer EMA, the 150-week EMA, uh, at around 2,800, which is also supporting Ethereum's price. Now, as an investor or as a person who looks at the chart from the higher time frames, it never pays to be too bearish when an asset is at support, regardless of what you think it will do or where you think it is going. When the asset is at support, expect higher prices. If I was, or if I were actually a long term investor, this is where you want to deploy some cash, uh, regardless if the asset is going to move higher immediately, yes or no, because it is sitting at a 2-year long support. Okay, now will it hang on to this 2-year long support? Will it stay uh, contained at 2,800 before moving higher? I'm not so sure. Actually, I'm pretty sure that it is going lower, but uh, I've learned over the years that it doesn't pay to be too bearish or too greedy in this market. So when the price is at support, and if you are looking at Ethereum as a long-term investment, I think this is the spot in which you would like to deploy some cash and buy the dip, but definitely not go all in. Now, from the tactical overview, from the daily chart perspective, Ethereum is still in a correction. It is forming an expanding triangle, which is a chart pattern typical of a wave 4, and this is why I am still expecting a move lower, at least to $2,000. Okay, but from a tactical perspective, from a daily chart, as a trader, what I see here is an expanding triangle. Wave A, B, C, D, and currently it is in the process of making wave E. Wave E is usually the largest wave, and it is the most time consuming. By the largest wave, I mean that it has to be bigger than the C wave. So the one-to-one extension of the C wave gets us to 3,500, and if we are saying or operating under the assumption that wave E is bigger than wave C, I would expect Ethereum to reach 3,700 or even 3,800 before moving lower. So Ethereum does have some bullish uh, outlook, at least for the next weeks or a week or two. Okay, now I want to emphasize something, that when you are trading Ethereum, especially when the market is in a downtrend, and it certainly is, you're not really trading Ethereum, you are trading a highly volatile derivative of Bitcoin, meaning that Ethereum will do whatever Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin does go to 98K as I expect it to, then Ethereum will probably go to 3,700 or 3,800, and in that respect you stand more to gain trading ETH instead of trading Bitcoin. But this correlation is a double-edged sword because it works the other way as well. If Bitcoin now doesn't live up to the expectations, okay, and only makes it to the range high at 94K, then Ethereum, there's no way for Ethereum to make higher prices and to get to 3,700 and 3,800. Another thing that I want to emphasize is that if I was a classical chartist, if I didn't have the benefit of Elliott waves, then I would probably look at it as a bear flag and possibly a developing head and shoulders pattern. And in that respect, Ethereum doesn't offer much upside, probably as high as 3,300. Okay, so maybe it has 10% more to go before finally failing and pushing lower. So what should you do? What should you do depends on your perspective, of course, but if you are a long-term investor, then uh, in investing, you are not looking for the perfect entry, you are looking for a favorable buy. So let's say that Ethereum has gone uh, more than 40% from the top. Okay, it is sitting at a long-term support and it does have the support of the EMAs. This is when you want to deploy some cash. But if you are a trader, then I think that these horses already left the barn. I could certainly justify a long trade on Ethereum in December 18th. But currently, if you do want to play a long game with Ethereum, then you have to account for a very large buffer, okay, before your stop loss activates. So let's say we are optimistic and we believe that it will go to 3,700, let's say 750. Your risk to reward ratio is marginal, 1 to 2.62. It's not a play that I would try to do in a bear market. Okay, so that's all I have for you on ETH. I hope it helps, and I will see you in the next video.